Shri Guru Paramparaye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave. Now, Vijnanamaya Kosha is not Atma that we have noticed or studied in last class. Ananda Pratibimba Vitatanu Vrittistamodrimhita. Shloka number 207. Syadanandamaya Priyadigunakaha Sweshtarthalabhodayaha Punyasyanubhave vibhati kritinam anandarupasvayam sarvo nandati yatra sadhu tanubhin matra prayatnam vina Ananda pratibimba chumbita tanur vittistamodrimbhita Syadanandamaya priyadigunakaha Sweshtarthalabhodayaha Punyasyanubhave vibhati kritinam ananda Rupasvayam sarvo nandati yatra sadhu tanuvrin matra prayatnam vina. Ananda pratibimba chumbita tanu. आनंद स्वरूप आत्मा के द्वारा प्रतिबिंबित होकर जो प्रकाशमान है, which one expressed as a reflection of supreme bliss of Atma. Tamojrimbhita, which is the result of avidya, ignorance. The vrittihi here, thought process. Anandamaya syat. Anandamaya syat means आनंदमय कोश हिसाब से अभिहित है. Now, so what is Anandamaya Kosha? That told that Ananda Pratibimba Chumbita Tanu Tamojrimbhita Vrittihi Syat. Now, ये जो आनंदमय कोश है, ये क्या है? प्रियादि गुण कहा, प्रिय प्रवृत्ति गुण युक्त, मतलब प्रिय, मोद, प्रमोद. गुण का मतलब हर चीज कैसे प्रिय होता है, इसका ग्रेडेशन है. That is that priya, moda, pramoda. That priyadi gunakaha. Swa ishtartha labha udayaha. How it becomes dear, dearer, dearest, it depends on the Vastu Prapti. It depends on the set of mind. It depends on the proximity of the vastu. Yatra sarvaha tanubhrit matraha. यत्र मतलब जो आनंदमय कोश में सर्वः मतलब सारे वस्तु तनुभृत मात्र, तनुभृत मात्र मीन्स ये शरीरधारी जो जीव है उसके बारे में बोल रहा है। प्रयत्नम विना, विदाउट एनी एफर्ट, साधु नंदति। साधु हियर मीन्स सम्यक रूप से, इन अ बेटर वे, इन द बेस्ट वे, नंदति सुखानुभव होता है। The feeling of sukha, it happens. So, what Gurudev is telling, I will first tell. For the following reasons, no, 207. The Anandamaya Kosha, the bliss shield, is that modification of nations which is kissed chumbitatanu by a reflection of the Atma, which is bliss absolute, pleasure, and so on. And they are its attributes, and it springs into expression when an object agreeable to it presents itself. The fortunate feel it spontaneously when the fruits of their good actions manifest. Every being, without the least effort, derives great joy from it. Now the Anandamaya Kosha is being described. Anandamaya Kosha is also a vritti, a mental disturbance. Vritti means thought. Even during deep sleep, there are thought, the waves of thought. The prana, the mind, and the intellect are annihilated or transcended. During actual moments of samadhi, there are no physiological functions in the physical body. Clinically, one is supposed to be dead. Sri Aurobindo's and Swami Paramahamsa Yogananda's bodies were kept for some days after their samadhi with the expectation that they would come back. When the body starts rotting, it is disposed of. When one is in samadhi, it is God's and nature's job to protect it. You know, I have clearly seen in the book of forensic medicine, some of my friends are doctors. They are told that brain death is the actual death, heart death is not the death, like that, or vice versa, I don't know. But the line is written in a bold letters that I have kept in the forensic medicine book, and foreign author. He has written, but these sort of things happens on and often for the Indian spiritual practitioners. Science has no explanation about it. हमारा जो साइंस है, विज्ञान नहीं है, जो साइंस है, उनका परिधि टिल द स्थूल शरीर, स्थूल जगत. The spiritual periphery is different. Even when Sri Ramakrishna left his mortal body, many of them who were serving Sri Ramakrishna, they could not understand. So they started rubbing clarified butter or ghee on his spinal cord, because this is one of the method to bring a sadhaka back from samadhi. If the person is in samadhi, then it's nature's duty to protect. I have heard one real story from a Swami in Himalayas, old Swami. He told me that when that Konkhal bridge was, construction was going on. So JCB and all, they started digging. Suddenly they saw white ants piling and something. So suddenly the JCB driver informed, and when they broke it, they saw one Swami is meditating. So on that period of time in Rishikesh, Haridwar, Kankhal was full of knowledgeable Swamis who knew verily about Samadhi. So they started chanting and doing something else. And that Swamiji, came out of Samadhi. And he started asking, ये दुष्ट शाहजहान कहाँ है? कहाँ है? Means 200, 250 years or 300 years, he was in Samadhi. The Delhi Badshah maybe started doing torturing for the Hindu Swamis. That's why one of them hidingly sat into meditation and went into trance. So it is not death. Samadhi prapta vyakti is verily alive. Death is when it will start rotting. Clear? That is why It's very difficult for the followers of spiritual personality that whether our master has died or not, will come back or not. Because when Sri Ramakrishna used to go for trance or samadhi, Dr. Mohendralal Sarkar used to come and to check up. He told in our medical science it is not there. He used to put fingers on the, eyes, inside the eyes. But samadhi is samadhi. Brahmani. You know the famous picture of Sri Ramakrishna? The same picture has been expressed in a beautiful marble statue in Belur Math. There is a nice history. Swami Vivekananda wanted that my guru should be picturized as billions of trillions of people can see him, that how the avatara was. But Sri Ramakrishna did not want to, did not agree with it. One day, Swami Vivekananda hired a cameraman. On that time, camera was not a small thing. Camera was a very bigger thing with a lot of bellows. Then he used to cover up his head with the, carton or something like that. So Ramakrishna naturally was not agree. Then Swami Vivekananda knew how to make him calm. So Swami Vivekananda started reading Bhagavad Gita. And whenever there is Bhagwan's name, Sri Ramakrishna used to go into trance. So whenever Swami Vivekananda started chanting Bhagavad Gita in his melodious voice, Sri Ramakrishna went into trance. Earlier days, when only photographer used to take our photos, I think older people can remember. They used to tell, smile, you just nod your head little right, little left, because on that time mobile phone or anything else was not there, that click after click after click after click. Because a roll camera, how many shots will be taken? Because the film roll was costly also. Then you have to wash it, print it, so many problems. So they used to take one shot, maximum two shots. So they always used to tell, धार हिलाओ ऐसे करके, थोड़ा सा मुस्कुराओ, हाँ अब फिर से हिल गया, इसको इधर रखो. So the photographer on that time just see. So he started telling Sri Ramakrishna that Sri Ramakrishna in trance was like that little. He told that please straighten your spinal cord and all those things. Who will listen to whom? When the photographer was not getting the response, and Swami Vivekananda did not leave chanting Bhagavad Gita, the photographer himself went to correct the posture of Sri Ramakrishna. And he saw that the whole body came up like a dried leaf on his hand. What is the source of this story? That is Devavani. Okay. So that is Samadhi. And he was horrified. इतना बड़ा इतना लंबा लोग मेरे हाथ में सूखा पत्ता की तरह आया. So when a person is in Samadhi, the nature takes care. Clear. And when death happens, they are also the same thing, perishes. That is also part of the nature. So the thing is, if one's karma with the body is not finished, it will be protected and preserved by nature for one's future use. Samadhi is a state wherein all thought waves have totally stopped. Deep sleep is not Samadhi. During deep sleep, there are yet subtle vrittis in the intellect who remain in suspended condition. Like when we go for pilgrimage for holy dip, on the bank of the river, generally we get big, big trees. So all the ghosts, जिन जिन भूत ने हम लोगों को पकड़ के रखा, काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, मद, मत्सर्य, ये सारे भूत उस पेड़ पे चढ़ जाते. हम लोग नदी में डुबकी लगा के शुद्ध हो जाता. जब उठ कर आते हैं, तब फिर से पेड़ से ये सब भूत अपना ऊपर चला. That is the best example of deep sleep. We can consider our deep sleep as holy dip, which is momentary. And all our, not all, or maximum or minimum, whatever, or some vrittis are in suspended condition. So whenever we wake up, they start there playing. These vrittis can be said to be bliss thoughts, ananda vritti. Happiness experienced in a man's bosom is inversely proportional to the amount of agitation in his mind. Ordinarily, we are used to the endless stress and strain in our daily life. That moment in our life when our agitations are comparatively less is a relatively happy moment. So the happiest moment is that in which there are but negligible agitations in our bosom. These small thought waves are said to be bliss thoughts, ananda vritti. At these moments, the bliss of infinitude is tasted a little. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, in his poetic exuberance, says, the ripples of thought waves arising out of tamas in our mind kiss the reflection of the bliss of infinitude. This is the characteristic of the Anandamaya Purusha. From the non-apprehension of reality, soft ripples of thoughts arise in the mind. And when these ripples are kissed by, meaning illumined by, chumbitatan, ananda pratibimba chumbitatanhu, the light of divine bliss, illumined by the light of divine bliss. It is called Anandamaya Kosha. Even during our waking state, we sometimes experience this bliss state. Depending upon our relationship with the object of our liking, we feel different degrees of happiness. They are Priya, Moda, and Pramoda. They are the different degrees of happiness experienced when we come in different degrees of contact with the objects of our liking. When we are near an object of pleasure or contemplating upon it, we feel happy. A lover sitting in his home and thinking of his beloved feels happy. Though the beloved is far away, to think of the beloved is happiness. In English, we may call this pleasurable emotion felt in the bosom as pleasure, priya. When the beloved, the object of our liking, is in front of us, the pleasure is intensified, and that intensified pleasure is called moda. In English, you can call it joy. So first was pleasure, then it is joy right now. And when we are actually indulging in or enjoying, when the object of our pleasure is in our possession, that pleasure is naturally most intensified. This maximum intensity of joy is called pramoda. In English, you can call it as ecstasy. The happiness that is illumined by the light of supreme bliss is one of the nature of pleasure, joy, and ecstasy. Priya, Moda, and pramoda. At such moments, we are in the Anandamaya Kosha. These joys can be experienced in relation to an object of pleasure when we consider that the pleasure is in the object. This is possible only when we are ignorant of Brahman, the reality, that is, when we are in avidya. At times in our life, we feel happy without any reason. This is due to the noble vasanas or desire created in us due to our past meritorious actions. Urva punya phala. Punya and papa, merits and sins, are determined by the condition and the type of vasanas in us. The vasanas that create more and more agitation in the bosom are termed as papa, and those creating peace and serenity in the mind are called punya. When there are more and more such noble vasanas in an individual, the condition of his mind will become more and more serene. When there is more calmness in the mind, more joy is sure to be experienced. We see a Mahapurusha, great man, Mahatma, sitting down under some tree, shivering with cold to his very toes, not knowing where is his next meal to come from, yet supremely happy and hilarious. This joy is from the punya in his heart. Whenever such joys are experienced, one is in the Anandamaya Kosha. The bliss sheath consists of non-apprehension. There is therein no positive experience of joy. What is experienced in this state is only the absence of sorrow. Very few in the world know that joy is. All that we know is either sorrow or a slight absence of it, either pain or the absence of it. But real joy, very few of us know. Real joy is nothing but the experience of Brahman, which is Ananda Ghana, the solidified happiness. Ananda Ghana, homogeneous. Real homogeneous bliss or Ananda, Paramananda, is the nature of Brahman. We do not experience that. At best, we experience only a relative absence of agitations. This is called the bliss seed. Hari Om Tat Sat.